Bruiser, what you're talking about, and this is not making excuses, this is just history. This goes back to COINTELPRO 1.0, and when they started giving women government assistance to keep the men out the household. So women been living off the safety net for decades. Child support is just another branch on that tree. And so that kind of goes into, going back to Roe versus Wade being overturned. I said it's an onion because first they're going to take away the rights to have a deletion. Then it's going to go back to banning same-sex marriages, the same-sex sexuality. It's going to go back to banning birth control. Everything is being reversed. So what you're talking about is programming. Remember, I said go back to the doctor, not the symptoms, the doctor, which is the government who did the diagnosis of the sickness. Start from there, and it goes back to the dismantling of Black families. I think that the 90s, the 80s. I'm sorry if I'm not saying the right era, but this has been going on for decades. So child support is just a small fraction of it. So I had to be honest with myself that the times I did think about child support because I knew it was going to hurt him. I'm just being honest. And when I let that bitterness go, whether he helped me or not, I just said that's between him and his God. Only thing I should focus on and just and be in control of is how to take care of my son. So thank God our relationship over the years have gotten better. Thank God I listened to my right mind because guess what? A couple months ago, my son said he's ready to live with his dad. So now I'm on the other end.
So you said thank God. So you're saying basically the child support, which we call a safety net, is a blessing.
I say thank God I looked at myself in the mirror and took self-accountability and got rid of the bitterness and did the right thing and focused on taking care of my son and not taking him to child support. That's what I meant by thank God.
So what do you think women would do if child support wasn't there?
I can't speak for all women, but what I was going to say is now I am on the other end of it. I'm going to be the one giving him money every week. I'm going to be the one having my son on the weekends. So what if he wanted, because I went forward with my bitterness and put him on child support, my son wants to live with his dad, he can turn around and do the same thing to me out of bitterness.
Now, listen, my baby mama can't even hold a candle. My baby mama can't even hold a candle next to me.
Hold on, Quest. King Rio was next.
Go ahead, King Rio.
Shout out to Amber. I want to say a big shout out to Amber. We love you, baby. I wish more women thought like you, man. No cap, bro. We love you, bro.
Quest, please let King Rio go.
I just wanted you to acknowledge also that there are some women who sue for child support and don't allow the father to be in the child's life. So, the issue that I have with some of these statistics, that we leverage and we use is that it's not a one size fit all. There are situations that also come into play for reasons why some of these men are part of these statistics, so to speak. I also had a question for you. So when we throw out those specific numbers, does that include Black men who are incarcerated? As far as you threw out what was that, 62.9% were.
It doesn't break down like that.
Okay. Because I was just saying these things are situational. We also have to look at the predicament of our people. Right. And
but then you have to also remember that I don't know what mistaking. I read that Black men were most involved, like the stats that what they're looking at is unwed numbers, but that Black men, even though they're not wed to the mothers, they are the most involved. That's what I read.
That's also been my experience. And even when I look across this panel, one of the things that I was able to appreciate is that even women who aren't married to the men who are the father to their children are saying, I don't even have to sue this brother because he's taking accountability for his responsibility in the child's life, right? And for the fathers who are, on the bottom half of this screen here, we're saying that we take full responsibility for our role in our children's life, whether or not we're with the mothers or not. So I just want to make sure that we're giving an accurate representation of Black men and where we are today. Because it is let's just be clear, in the Black male community, we are not letting deadbeats fly. That is not what our culture is like.
Holding them accountable.
We hold them accountable. So I just want to make sure that we made that clear and that we are giving an accurate message to our viewers.
All I'm saying is,
did your question get answered, Bruiser? Did you,
huh?
The question you had?
I'm just seeing if y'all. I'm just seeing y'all as females agree to what I'm about to say.
Mhm.
If this safety net is not there, do y'all agree that a huge portion of our community, an overwhelming portion of our community, wouldn't be so comfortable to be complacent and stay at that level on a socioeconomic status because they're receiving these efforts that's being pushed by the court orders?
Well, I think it's also
It would force us to elevate. It would force us to apply more effort. You know what I'm saying? To get out and actually work and actually do something instead of just sitting there collecting a check.
well,
Most
if you think
people
about
will
it, it don't start with just sorry. I'm sorry, Miss.
No, you go ahead, Amber.
Okay. Bruiser, what you're talking about, and this is not making excuses. This is just history. This goes back to COINTELPRO 1.0. And when they started giving women government assistance to keep the men out the household. So women been living off the safety net for decades. Child support is just another branch on that tree. And so that kind of goes into, you know, going back to Roe versus Wade being overturned. I said it's an onion because first they're going to take away the rights to have a deletion. Then it's going to go back to banning same-sex marriages, the same-sex sexuality. It's going to go back to banning birth control. Everything is being reversed. So what you're talking about is programming. Remember, I said go back to the doctor, not the symptoms, the doctor, which is the government who did the diagnosis of the sickness. Start from there, and it goes back to the dismantling of Black families. I think that the 90s, the 80s. I'm sorry if I'm not saying the right era, but this has been going on for decades. So child support is just a small fraction of it.
Okay, we can agree that it's a small fraction of it. But what I'm saying is these fractions,
funding, you know, living in food deserts, projects.
So if you take away food from a dog's plate, what are you gonna do?
Become a hunter.
He gonna leave the house, right? He gonna go find his food.
Right. Here's what I say. Here's what I say. Because there's been a lot of conversation about this shit. I want to be very clear. Hey, chat ninjas, I love y'all. Y'all my ninjas. Yes, y'all gonna hold me accountable. Sometimes y'all may have it wrong, right? Because y'all don't have the full understanding of what's going on in my reality, right? I'm giving you a glimpse into my reality. But here's what I'm gonna say. To the men that are out there who have children and you didn't necessarily want whoever your child's mother is right now to come to fruition, here's what I'm gonna suggest. This is a suggestion. I want you guys to start a diary. And I want you to create a diary to whoever that child is, right? I want you to make logs in your computer. Let's just say you're putting on your computer. Make logs in your computer. Tell your child how you're feeling at this particular moment. A week later, tell them how you're feeling about that moment. A year later, tell them how you're feeling about that moment. When that child gets of age where he or she is going to be able to understand what it was that you're going through, I want you to give it to this child. This, unfortunately, is a part of my diary, the things that you're seeing right now. My child is eventually going to grow up to be of a certain age and look back on this, have her own mentality, have what she's learned from her mother, and the things that she is seeing and things that she has learned from her father. I think
a journal for Jordan.
Yeah, journal for Jordan. I was looking.
Oh shit! Yeah, forgot about that. There's a whole movie about this.
Yeah,
create that journal. Create that journal. Now, granted, the movie was not on the same premise of what it is that we're talking about here today, but it will give some insight into how you were thinking. Your child will understand what your mindset was each and every day throughout your that child's upbringing. Create a journal. Create a journal. That's all I'm saying. Back off.